I'm a gold distributor here in Arkadelphia, Arkansas, and I'm very excited. I'm excited that we have a packed house, and you know, that always makes for excitement and makes it fun to do a presentation. And I'm very honored as well to be your presenter this evening, and I want to compliment each one of you that have taken your time out this evening to be on the call too. This means that you've set yourself apart, and you're experiencing leadership qualities in the fact that you take time out from your busy schedule to attend a training. So let's get started. My training this evening is focused on overcoming our fears so we can move forward to our next level in our business. And I believe that when I do a training, it's interesting. I learn more from the subject because of the research I do that I'm able to convey to you. So I usually end up benefiting far more than you do, and it's usually a very timely subject for me as well. And I have learned that everyone experiences fear, even our experienced leaders like Dan Cato and Joe Garcia. When any of us undertake to do something that we've never done before, we experience fear, fear of the unknown. Now, many of you have heard my story about being a registered nurse, a retired registered nurse with inadequate retirement fund. And then I went out and tried to change that and was not successful, and signed up with NHT Global and asked one of the top persons in our business to coach, mentor, and train me. And then I experienced lots of fear as Joe Garcia introduced me to many new ideas and concepts that were very foreign to me in my everyday experiences. You know, I've never done anything like that. And then being able to earn that check for $13,000 for 1 week, wow. And continuing on to be a successful person, overcoming those fears. You know how exciting it is for me. I hope it is for you as well. And tonight I would like to share with you how all of our lives, we all encounter events in our lives that puts us in that uncomfortable area, and we experience fear. Just think back over your own life. You know, think about the first day you went to school, in kindergarten. You know, the fear of unknown. Then high school, college, marriage, your first job, purchasing your first home, birth of your children. You know, we all have experienced these times and have handled them in different ways, and that some of them we may not have handled. So fear is human. It's part of everyone's life, and it's a distinct function in all of our lives. And it was given to you, to us, to keep us safe and to bring us closer to our Creator. Now, I experienced being brought closer to my Creator on my trip that I went to Hong Kong several years ago. I was an older lady, and I was traveling by myself. And I had never traveled that far by myself alone. And I depended on and trusted my God to help me during the whole event. When it was time for me to come home, I was concerned about getting to the right gate, the right plane, getting home, getting my luggage, getting through customs. And again, I let my God know that I was going to need some help. And I got to the airport. I got there several hours early before the departure. And I didn't have any problem with customs, but there wasn't very many people there either. But I did happen to see two ladies a short distance from me. I made eye contact with the older lady, and we got into a conversation. Guess what, people? That lady and her daughter were from Dallas, Texas. They were going to be on the same plane as I was, and they knew exactly where to go, what to do, how, you know, all of it for everything. And they lived in Dallas, Texas, but they traveled to Hong Kong frequently because they had family there. So I spent a great deal of time with this lady and her daughter till we boarded the plane for Chicago. And again, when I got off the plane in Chicago, there this lady and her daughter were to help me again to get to the right gate to get to Arkansas. And they were leaving Chicago earlier than I, but they made sure that I was where I needed to be. They took care of me. And I told them again that my God had sent them to me, and I really thanked them. And you know, so my fears were for naught. I was well taken care of. I had given it to my God, and He took care of me. And, you know, we're born with 3 fears. Everybody has these when they're born. Fear of falling, loud noises, and abandonment. And we will see how these fears are ever present in our whole lifetime, and we create the other fears ourselves in our mind. So what fear is? It's false evidence appearing real. You know, fear is made up in our mind. We make it up. It isn't real. You can't reach out and touch it. It isn't tangible, and it is all in your mind. Now, I know each of you have experienced like events in your life that caused you to be fearful. You had self-doubt. You did a lot of negative self-talk. You felt out of your element, and oh, what have I done? How am I going to get out of this? Now, Bob Proctor has done a presentation, and he did it on terror barrier. He shares that fear can cause people to back away from what they really want. It's the most destructive emotion that we have. Our conscious mind is our emotional mind, but it cannot determine the difference between what is real or what is imagined. It doesn't make decisions. It accepts what the conscious mind sends it. It takes action if the item sent to it is done with emotion. Bob explains the terror barrier as being on one side where you can be comfortable, but you're in bondage. And if you go across to the other side, go through the terror barrier, you have freedom. Another person, Robert Anthony, in his Deliberate Creation series, talks about our essential silent partner that helps us to make decisions. But again, that information on things is based on your past decisions and experiences. And it's to protect you again from making some bad decisions. But again, it limits you because it doesn't know the future. And it is based on your past. And it will make you stop from getting into a new adventure by interceding and reminding you of your past mistakes and experiences. So it may prevent you from moving forward, getting into a new experience that you really want to do, but you don't do because you don't want to go through Bob Proctor's terror barrier. You don't want to get uncomfortable. And I also want to refresh your memory about a video that Joe shared with us several months ago, maybe it was a year ago, the Brain Comfort Zone video. When a person committed to getting involved in the business, and their mind, the amygdala, kicked in, and all that old stuff, how he normally reacted to a situation, kicked in. It was wanting to protect him, keep him comfortable, and he backed out of the opportunity as the subconscious mind wanted him to do. He compromised his dreams and goals. Now, this same reaction happens to us as well. You know, I love that video because I can see myself in that video when I come to making an uncomfortable decision. I can see myself going back and forth as he did. And also, it also helps me to realize what I'm doing and to overcome that fear. So these are just 3 examples and ways to explain what is happening to us due to fear of change, failure, rejection. And if you want more information in these subjects, you can do some research. Just do a Google on YouTube or just do a Google search. So some of the fears that you may have experienced when you signed on as a distributor with NHT Global are some of the other things that you've made decisions about. And that is, what have I committed myself to? How can I get out of this? How am I going to do this? What do I do now? How am I going to do this? Can I do what my mentor asked me? I don't want to let him or her down. I don't want him or her to know that I have no idea what they're talking about. I'm not a good speaker. I have trouble starting conversations. I'm not a good communicator. I don't want you to know that I don't know that much about the company. So what will I say on the telephone with a prospect or a customer if they ask me a question? I have no experience as a business owner. How am I going to run a business? How do I set up a PowerPoint, let alone do a presentation? And whatever else you imagine may dream up for you. And this is a lot of negative self-talk going on. And again, this is just another reminder of be aware of what self-talk you're saying to yourself and how you talk to yourself on a daily basis. So this is some of the things that we fear. We fear loss of our personal time. You know, your friends and neighbors and relatives won't respect you. Commitment. What am I going to have to do? Will I be able to do it? Will I know how? How much of my personal time am I going to have to give up? Do I have to give up TV? Do I have to give up my sports? Rejection. And this can be by family and friends. They're going to make fun of me for doing this thing. They're going to say, what am I thinking of? Are you crazy to get involved in one of these things? Nobody ever succeeds in those things. You won't make any money. Responsibility for me and my business. Not measuring up. Am I good enough? Do I know enough? I don't want to look like a fool, and I don't want to look like I don't know what I'm doing. Am I worthy of success? What if I fail? Confrontation. If someone rejects me, will I be able to handle it? What will I say to them? How do I explain to my sponsor why I haven't moved forward? How do I explain to my sponsor that I haven't done what he said to do? Change. Am I going to have to change? I'm okay the way I am. I will wait till my products arrive. Will I be able to change? What will I have to do to change? And the last one, having to grow up, having to mature. I don't want to grow up. I'm having fun being immature. It's safer here. And here's some ways that we may deal with fear. We may run from it, ignore it, deny it, make excuses, even sabotage our own efforts. We may become, at the edge of success, and we'll do something that sabotages it, and we're back to square one. Or just quit and give up on your dreams. When you're scared, you automatically begin to make excuses on why you aren't capable of doing something. And this quite frequently involves needless procrastination and lame excuses for why you can't reach your goals. You compromise. You talk yourself into accepting something less. And I found out that if you experience fear of commitment, responsibility, growing up, or change, probably your fear is really based in the fear of success. But if most of your fear comes from fear of rejection, confrontation, or not measuring up, it may be based in fear of failure. So the next subject we're going to talk about, and this has a lot to do with our fear, is our belief system. Our belief system is a driving force behind our behaviors and our results. Just what we covered in Bob Proctor and Robert Anthony's and the brain video, they explained this very well. And what makes up our belief system? Our belief system is developed when we're very young. The 1 year to 10 years, our brain is like a sponge. It takes in and accepts whatever anybody and everybody says to you, from any and all influences. And these same beliefs are what we're using today. So this is one of the reasons that it's very important to be aware and to identify and to change these beliefs to ones that serve us today. And here are some influences that affected us and still affect us even as adults. And that's parents and family and friends, society's influence, each person's life circumstances and experiences, some of the experiences that you've had in your life up until now. And I have covered these in some of my other trainings on how you can change your belief system, and so I won't go into depth on that tonight. So, there's always consequences, good and bad, and there's results for not facing our fears. And one of those is loss of self-esteem. And I personally believe that you will never really like and respect yourself till you face up to your fears. That you will never do anything great in your life. You will be mediocre. You will do okay, but not what you could do. And that's okay. If you're just willing to be mediocre, that's all right. That's your choice. Now, I choose to be better than mediocre. And we do not receive the gifts from facing our fears. This is the freedom that Bob Proctor talks about. And once you've ever experienced that freedom, you'll understand what I mean. And I'm sure all of you have, that you've gone through that terror barrier and got on the other side and experienced that freedom. And here's some questions to ask yourself at the time that you're experiencing fears. How many times have you been afraid of something that you later discovered really wasn't that fearful after all, that it was just sort of a poof, it really wasn't anything to it, and you were so grateful that you went on through that terror barrier and accomplished it? How many times have you lamented over not taking action because of your fears? Really put yourself down. How much is your fear costing you today? How did it affect how you feel about yourself? How much has your fear cost you over the past 5 years, 10 years? And that could be, if you're still on the job, and promotions, salary raises, a better job, a better position, in the business. It could be, has your business advanced? Is it just stationary? How's things all over, even in your relationships? And are you finding that you're repeatedly not moving forward because of this fear? And if you continue to let fear overcome you, how much will it cost you over your lifetime? Will it cost you your self-esteem? Will it cost you your self-evaluation, how you feel about yourself? And in answering these questions, consider the physical, mental, and emotional and financial impacts. Jamie just did the presentation, and he talked about the healthy lifestyle, that we need to have physical health, emotional health, and financial health in place to have a healthy lifestyle. But if you let fear control you, you will not have that healthy lifestyle because you won't have emotional health. So I put this in. I thought you would enjoy this as much as I did. Free of fear. This kitty cat is free of fear. She is relaxed. She is really mellow, and she's handled that terror barrier. So here's ways that we can deal with fear. One can choose to go back towards safety or forward towards growth. Growth must be chosen again and again, and fear must be overcome again and again. And this is a quote by Abraham Maslow. And when you make the decision to move forward, you stop compromising what you want. You will not accept anything lesser. You make a commitment to that decision daily. And that means that in order to achieve what you want in life, you have to learn how to overcome fear time and time and time and time again, every day, and sometimes several times a day. And you step up and take responsibility for yourself. You alone are responsible. No one else is in your mind, just you. Awareness. Know that it is fear that is holding you back. Find out who you are. I learned who I was by doing an inventory of my good and bad qualities. And I discovered my good qualities outweighed my bad, and my bad qualities were fixable, that I could work on them and make them better. And maybe this will work for you as well. Then self-doubt and self-talk. These go together, and be very aware of what you're saying to yourself, because it will self-talk. Negative self-talk will lead to self-doubt. Self-confidence. All of these things done on a daily basis will improve your self-confidence. Also reading, listening to audios, and watching the trainings on STEAM Team. Also associating with the winners. Affirmations done several times a day will surprise you in what they can do for you and how it will help you to change your mindset. Like to add in affirmations, also meditation will help. Courage. Donna Young did a presentation on courage some time ago, and it's on the STEAM Team, and I would suggest that you re-listen to that and re-look at that. It's great information on courage. Feel the fear and take the leap anyway. Just do it. As Art Williams says, just do it. And muster up the courage to take action, despite the monster fear looking right back at you. You will find that fear only has power when in your mind. You have the ability to face your fears just as many do. And when you decide to face fear head-on, the seemingly insurmountable beast quickly becomes weak and powerless. So the startling truth is, the only person keeping you from achieving your goals is you. When your why becomes bigger than your fears, you will move forward. When you place more importance on your destination rather than the place where you're currently at, you will embark upon your journey. You will discover the courage to step outside your comfort zone. And this is something that Joe and Dan have repeatedly told all of us, that when your why becomes bigger than your fears, you will move forward. So you can be fearful and retreat, or you can be empowered and act on freedom and to freedom. And you'll have that, again, the feeling of being 10 foot tall when you go through that terror barrier and you accomplish that feat. So I want to leave you with this final notice or thought. Change your beliefs and you change your behaviors. Change your behaviors and you change your results. Change your results and you change your life. So with that, I'd like to sign off. Frances Maxwell signing off, and I hope you all have a very blessed week and you benefit from this training as I have. Thank you, and good night.